Today we are here to break down our rankings of all 7 opening scenes in the Jurassic Park saga. And yes, you did hear me correctly. We're breaking down the 7 opening scenes from the films, including Jurassic Park, The Lost World, Jurassic Park 3, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, and both the theatrical and extended cuts of Jurassic World Dominion. And to rank all of those wonderful opening scenes, I have with me today Caleb Burnett. What's going on, Caleb? Returning for like a second episode in a row. How you doing?
Yeah, it's like a phenomenon here. I'm good. We're talking about Jurassic, so I'm great. So.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's always nice to talk about things you love, right? So, and specifically, like, we're narrowing it down to some really good stuff. Like, it's hard. Like, there's things we can pick apart, I think, for sure. But there's some really good stuff in here. I just want to remind everybody, if you don't remember what those opening scenes were, I know you do. I know you know what they are, but we're gonna do it anyway. I'll remind you. The Jurassic Park opening sequence basically is just the crickets, the jungle noises, the trees start shaking, that big raptor cage pulls in, Muldoon with the InGen crew, tasering the thing as it's pulling in Joffrey, fades to Gennaro on the raft. You get it. You know that scene. The Lost World, basically this long fade in on this cloudy island. You've got the family on the beach, and the girl gets attacked by the compies. Fade to a mother screaming, and then Ian Malcolm just yawning, which is a great image there.
The best match cut in the history of cinema.
You've got Jurassic Park 3 with some 3 slashes down the logo there. You've got a restricted island of Isla Sorna, airplanes, boats, fog, and a parasail that just goes wandering off into the island, and you fade into a Brachiosaurus toy with Charlie. Jurassic World gives us a couple of eggs and a cracking egg, one barely coming out, one coming out, and then it fades into the snow with the birds stomping down in the snow. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. This one's a pretty long one, but it gives you like the submarine sequence in the lagoon, an attack of the Mosasaurus. Rex chases down some dude in a yellow coat, and he grabs onto the ladder, and the ladder gets eaten and pulled, and there's a lot of stuff that happens there, and that cuts to the logo just getting engulfed in lava, which is pretty cool. And then we have the 2 cuts for Jurassic World Dominion. Theatrical one, which I had to go back and remember these 2 specifically, because with the theatrical and the extended, I'm kind of getting things confused at this point. But you get the Mosasaurus attack sequence, which is a little bit extended, and then you get the Now This sequence, which has some Battle at Big Rock stuff, shots of the Innovation Center and the Visitor Center. There's some Gallimimus shots in there, the Poachers, Black Market stuff, Biosyn with Dodgson, and they mentioned Maisie too, which is interesting. The Cats is flying around, and that foggy logo just kind of pushes into the screen, and you cut to that Nasutoceratops facility. And then the extended cut, finally here, is the prologue. You get the prologue in its all, full glory. You get all the dinosaurs from 65 million years ago. The Giga taking down the Rex, cutting to the 65 million years later at the drive-in with the T-Rex, just kind of causing havoc there at the drive-in theater. And then you get the foggy logo screen again, cutting to the Now This. So it cuts right to that instead. So there's a lot there to choose from. And I got to say, it was pretty difficult to come up with this list. I threw it to you last minute here today. I was like, hey, any chance you can come up with a fun list? Because I've got a fun idea. And somebody, I wish I could attribute it to somebody. I thought I wrote it down. Best openings. Oh, I do have it. Best openings from Kane 702. Kane 702 on YouTube suggested this idea. And I remember doing a live stream, and I guess Kane 702 came up with that idea, and here it is. So
you're
welcome.
Kane. Yeah.
Thank you. But it was difficult to come up with these lists, and a lot harder than I expected. And then when adding in the 2 intros for Dominion, that made it even more difficult. What were your thoughts kind of going into this list?
It was hard to rank. I mean, we were doing the whole franchise, but it was hard to rank like the original trilogy and the sequel trilogy, which
Yeah.
is those are Star Wars terms, which is feels weird coming out of my mouth, but um like
Yeah.
it was hard to pick between the first three films, but then it was all like it's also really tight between the two versions of Dominion as well, like
Yeah.
because there are good things about both of those, and
Exactly.
there are unique things about both of those. So yeah.
I like that you mentioned that sequel trilogy Star Wars talk when talking about how hard it is to pick from the new and the old. I had a episode of my other podcast, Grim Grinning Hosts, where we talked about 20, I think it was the 20 things about Star Tours episode. And I had to pick between like something new and something old. And I was like, it's hard for me to pick between something that I've had forever and something that's new, but I love. So it is a
Mhm.
very tough choice because we have three, or I guess you can say four brand new films that are great and have some really interesting intros. And then, also the three older ones that have some really iconic stuff as well. So
Yeah.
let's see. We've got 7 to go through. You want to kick it off? You want to go with your first pick, your seventh pick? We'll start at the bottom and we'll work our
Okay,
way
we're gonna
up.
start at the bottom. Okay.
Let's start at the bottom. What do you think? What do you got?
I got my list on my phone. So I'm going to catch heat for this, I think. But my least favorite is Jurassic World. So
So I'll cut in and say yes, that is also on my number 7 as well. So
okay, there we
yeah,
go.
I agree. I agree. Why'd you put it at 7?
I have nothing against Jurassic World. I love that movie. It's always struck me as weird that the opening of Jurassic World is not like an inciting incident. Like
Hmm.
it's not an attack. It's not something like that like a lot of the other intros are. It's like it's completely different. It's the birth of the monster that
Yeah.
causes the plot of Jurassic World. So it's a different thing. I don't know. I think maybe I just I love attack incidents more, but yeah. So
Yeah. I agree. That's why I put it at the bottom because really not much happens and it's just it's a shot of 2 eggs and one barely poking through and the other one starting to come through and we figure out that that's the Indominus that we're going to follow. So
mhm.
I mean, it is kind of like an inciting incident. It's like the birth of the Indominus, but outside of that, it's not like the destruction or chaos of some of the other sequences. So, and it's
Yeah.
plus it's only like what, like 30 seconds to a minute long. It's not very long.
Yeah.
So it's got some nice music though. You got to say
Yeah,
it's got some nice
well,
music at the
that's what I
very
was gonna
intro.
say. The music is unique, the music is great. What would have been, I mean, could have, would have, should have, but what would have been cool is if in that intro we get to see the Indominus eat her
Ah,
sibling like it talks about. That would have
yes.
been cool.
I
But yeah.
know. I was thinking that same thing. That would have been nice. Maybe to see like a progression of time or something like that as this Indominus grows up or whatever.
Yeah.
That could have been interesting. Or just see it burst through that egg and then just instantly take over. That would be
Yeah.
interesting. But we didn't get anything like that. I do appreciate the bird stomping down in the snow as the transition into the next portion of the film.
Mhm.
Definitely thought that would come more. I obviously we get dinosaurs in snow in Jurassic World Dominion, but I thought for sure that there would be like it would be a mirroring. We'd get the opening of Jurassic World Dominion with a boom. You think it's a bird, but no, it's a dinosaur this
It's
time.
a
It's
foot.
like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So a little different, but yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
one. It's still a good intro, but it's not,
Absolutely.
it's not one of the best. So that's I guess our
I
both
will
of our
say
picks.
I will say the foot in the snow is a very clever that's a really
Yeah.
good thing. So,
I do. I love that. Yeah. So let's, I guess, just move straight into number 6. So I don't know. We
all
might.
right.
We'll see how far. I want to. I was interested because we didn't share our lists before, and I was wondering like
Yeah.
how on the nose are we going to be? How difficult is this? And we'll see if we overlap here. But what's your number 6?
So my next one is the extended edition of Jurassic World Dominion.
Oh, okay. All right. Go ahead. What's the
And
extended
so
edition about?
that's not because I don't like the concept of Dominion's intro. It's because I think that uh, the order of the elements of the intro could have been a little different. Like I think they chose the right elements in the right order in the theatrical version. And then when they had more elements to work with in the extended edition, they were like, what order do we need to put these in? And it works. The only flaw for me of the extended edition intro is that the logo flying is before the now this thing.
Mm-hmm.
I love in the theatrical intro that how the now this segment goes into that logo. It's just really epic. It's like for their safety and for our own, and it's really sweeping and epic there in the theatrical
Yeah.
version. And I liked the extended edition intro. It just felt a little less. I don't know. It felt a little less epic and sweeping, and I don't know. I feel like the momentum of all of those intro elements leads into that logo thing really well. And in the extended edition, it's second to last. So I don't know. It just feels weird. But yeah.
I get it. I get it. It was tough for me to rank those two individually and especially against all the others because of that exact thing. It's like some similar sequences in different orders. It's like technically the extended is like I guess if I'm stopping the intro at the credit or at the logo, now this comes after that for the extended, and it's like it's so different. Even the now this sequence is different between the two versions, and it makes things
Mhm.
interesting. And I like you said that swoop into the logo is pretty good in the theatrical cut, though. Yeah, for
The
sure.
best thing about the extended edition intro is the prologue. Like if they took prologue and stuck it on the beginning of the theatrical, it would be perfect.
Okay.
So
All right. All right. So my number six is I don't so I'm glad we strayed away and we have different lists because mine is
yeah.
Jurassic Park 3. All right. So mine
Okay.
unfortunately I'm gonna go Jurassic Park 3. And you know, I feel like it's weird because like I wanted to rank this last, but I couldn't rightfully do that with Jurassic World only being a barely an intro sequence.
Yeah.
So Jurassic Park 3 hits here because it's such a goofy sequence and I don't take like I think this is the problem back in 2001 for me was I don't take this seriously at all. Like I get the music that I know, but it's played differently. It's played weird to me. I'm like, I don't like the way that this is played. It sounds wrong. And then we get this like,
Mhm.
I don't know, this like corny, like restricted it's not as cool as like seeing Sorna for the first time in the Lost World. And then whatever happens on this boat, who knows? Like, I don't know what's going on there. It's bloody. It's a mess. It goes through the clouds, crashes. But honestly, I guess I could have ranked this at number one because it has probably one of the most quotable. That's hard to say, but one of the best parts in an intro with Ben Hildebrand just going like, "No, not yet!" Like that's just one of my favorite, most quotable things of the entire Jurassic franchise.
Yeah.
With his little camcorder, just like, and it's so funny to me. But that's the problem with this intro is it's a goof to me. And I'm,
It's
and even that transition into the dinosaur, the toy dinosaur with Charlie just going rah, rah, like it's all a goof.
I mean, Jurassic Park 3 certainly has the most goofy moments. But
Yeah.
the nah, not yet. You hear that like 3 times in the movie because they find the camcorder.
I
So
know, which I absolutely love that. Yeah, it does show up again. It's so funny. It's so funny to me. So number six, Jurassic Park 3 for me.
okay.
What's your number five?
My number 5 is the theatrical cut of Jurassic World Dominion.
Okay.
And I really love that intro. Like I said before, I think it would be perfect if they just stuck the prologue in the beginning. Um, But and I don't necessarily have anything against the theatrical intro other than it's missing the prologue. And I just, you know, happen to like the other intros on my list more. So yeah.
So my number 5 is also the theatrical cut. So that's
Okay.
perfect. It's a nice tie. Theatrical cut is interesting because, like, I do like that Mosasaurus sequence more. I think it's, we get more from the Mosasaurus sequence. It's cut short in the extended cut, which is weird.
Hmm.
Um, and the order, I don't know. It's interesting the way that this movie kind of starts. It's just like this inciting incident that we always expect is really not much of anything. It's just like a quick, just attack from the Mosasaur, and then it's over. And then we cut straight into that now this stuff, which is great. But at the same time, we kind of just got that after the intro in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. So it's like a similar kind of news beat. And but I like it. I like all the stuff that we're seeing there. We're getting so much content within that now this sequence. So I can't really fault it because because Battle at Big Rock. There's a lot of Big Rock talk in that. You're seeing shots
Yeah.
of the national forest, Ankylosaurus, Gallimimus, all this stuff. You see Battle at Big Rock from a different perspective, which is really really cool. So like you said, that lead into the foggy logo is really good. It definitely hypes you up with that music cueing in there. And I like the way that when the Ketz is flying in, that's when the music starts to ramp up and the screen goes from like, hey, this is now this, to all of a sudden it's expanding to full
Yeah.
screen, because it's not
Aspect
now this
ratio
anymore.
change.
It's the movie. You're watching the movie now. This is real life. And then that score ramps up, and it is very epic. And that score does happen on the extended cut as well, but like you said, it's a little different.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Yeah, I think
it's good.
as far as inciting incidents go, like with Dominion, it's like there are, since dinosaurs are all over the world now, there are thousands you could choose from. And so, like,
Yeah.
we picked the Mosasaurus thing, which supposedly that was the intro they wanted to do at the beginning of like that was one they considered for the beginning of Fallen Kingdom, and then they, kept the idea and used it in Dominion. But yeah,
Nice. Yeah.
they could have picked a ton of different things all over the world as an inciting incident. But yeah, so
Yeah. Yeah. So that's number 5. We got a dual pick there. That's nice. What's your number 4?
yeah. My phone locked. Hang on. So my number 4 is Jurassic Park 3.
Okay. All right.
And I like Jurassic Park 3 more every time I watch it. I used to be one of those people who really hated that movie, but I appreciate it so much now, because Alan Grant is an in-demand commodity that we don't get all the time, and so it's
Yeah.
nice to have Alan Grant. But the intro, I think the mystery element is fun. Like, did the Spinosaurus attack the boat? Did Pteranodons attack the boat? Which was it? I fall on the Spinosaurus side of the debate.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I think I do too.
and it's just, I don't know, as far as like it, to my argument before, like this intro has an inciting incident, and like the
Sure.
boat goes through the clouds and it comes out the other side and there's blood and carnage everywhere. It's
Yeah.
like, okay. Um, it's weird. The Jurassic Park 3 intro is weird because like you have that camera angle of, it's supposed to be Sorna, but it looks like the camera angle of Nublar from Jurassic Park almost.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
so that's not a big deal at all. It's just a little goofy, like you were saying. But yeah.
Sorry, I talked so poorly about your number 4 pick before, but
No, it's good.
look, I
So
agree. Like you said, you learn to love this movie more and more every time you watch it.
mhm.
And that's the same with me. Like at this point in time, like it's a goof to me. It's fun, but like back in the day, I was like upset and just like I was just like angry at this movie for some reason. But now it's just like whatever. It's fun, and it's the most
Yeah,
watchable one of any of the movies, probably.
absolutely. roller coaster hour and a half. It's so quick.
Yeah.
No, what I'll say about the intro that I love, honestly, is like, Eric and his stepdad get stranded on Isla Sorna, and they're not dinosaur people, they're not paleontologists or,
Yeah.
park people or whatever. Like, they're just people. And you know, I think that's a thing that Jurassic could do more, is like random people who don't have experience getting stranded on the island. But yeah,
Yeah.
so
I like that. That's a good way to transition into my number 4 pick because this is honestly like this was the reason why this list was so hard for me. My
mm,
number 4 is The Lost World Jurassic Park. And I thought there was a good portion of time while coming up with this list, I thought this was going to be number 1. Like this was literally going to be my number 1 for a while.
mm,
And it is I just love this. I love this one so much. So it's really I like it pains me. It pains me to have it at number 4. Like, what am I doing? Why is it at number 4? But like I'm looking at it on merit of like what has it got that I want, and like how valid is all the content in there. I do think like I love the start of the movie just with the ominous music, just kind of showing this cloudy island and the water and just the growling nature of the water as it crashes into the shore. It's so awesome. It's incredible, and then you get this like you said, these people that don't know anything about dinosaurs just encountering them, and that is so beautiful. Like that is a lot of what Jurassic is, and when you look at like the books and stuff like that, that's a lot of what that was. And I feel like as we got into the Jurassic World days, it kind of like we lost that a little bit because everybody knew what dinosaurs were. It wasn't like back then; it was still a mystery, right? Like nobody believed anybody, so it was something I think a little maybe more special back then. So having these people that don't know anything about anything just on a beach, just being rich and drinking their wines or whatever, and just eating roast beef sandwiches or whatever on the shore, like it was special. And getting those
yeah,
compies for the first time was awesome. Like seeing those little puppet rigs or whatever they were just bouncing around. It was so awesome.
yeah.
Um, and the best transition of all time is just going from the wife screaming, the mom screaming, to Jeff Goldblum yawning. Like this is, I think, and I was thinking to myself, is this the only reason why I want this to be at number 1? And I was kind of like, yeah, maybe, like because I love that transition so much. It's one of the best transitions ever in any movie.
Absolutely. I mean, people outside of the Jurassic community, like just in the film, talk
Mm,
about that match cut. They're like, Spielberg really did this. It's on the
it's so
nose.
good.
So
It
yeah,
is
it's
so
great.
good. So that's why it was so hard because it was like it was literally at number 1 for a little bit, but I'm like, I don't know if I can rightfully do this. So yeah, but let's move on to we're already in the top 3. We kind
Top
of
three.
breezed through 7. Wow, that's crazy. So number 3 on your list, what do we got?
Number 3 for me is Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom.
Ooh, okay.
For no real reason other than I like my number 1 and number 2 the most. Like, um, Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom's opening scene is fantastic. Like, it's thrilling every time you watch it, no matter how many times you've seen it. It's like there's so much
Yep.
chaos. Um, I mean, it's another instance of like people coming to the abandoned island. They have a little bit of an idea of what they're doing, but
Hmm.
but also like shit hits the fan pretty quickly. So it's just like it's everything that Jurassic does well. It's the shot of the lightning flashing with the T-Rex behind him is
Oh,
just absolutely great.
so good.
The T-Rex approaching is so Jurassic, and then he's running from the T-Rex. Like the absolute bonkers nature of the Mosasaurus coming out of the water and grabbing a guy off a ladder hanging from a helicopter. Like That's insane. It's so awesome. So I remember seeing it with my family, and they were like, they were like had to breathe out afterwards. They were like, "Holy crap! Like that was a lot. Like it's awesome." So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's on my list for sure. Um we'll get to it at some point, but the interesting thing about that pick and my number 3 is that both of them were viewed like ahead of the film. Like I know that one Fallen Kingdom that they I remember them touting like this 5 minutes. Was that the 25th anniversary? Did you have a chance to go see that thing? Or no, you were
I
still over
wasn't.
here, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I was still in New York at the time. But I remember people being there, and they were like, they took them to the theater on the lot and showed them the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Ah,
everybody was freaking out. They were like, "Oh my gosh!"
I know.
So
I just remember like I wanted to know so bad, and I also didn't want to spoil it, but I remember
yeah,
reading through the sequence, and even just reading through that does not do it justice because you need to see those visuals and everything. It is just so impressive.
it
But
it does
go
a
ahead.
that intro does a great job of like, you see that and you're like, man, I hope the rest of the movie is like this. And parts of it are. So
Yeah, it's interesting to see the conversation online about that intro and how it relates to the rest. But and maybe I think maybe we do have some online comments and stuff. Maybe they'll talk about that a little bit. But before we get there on my list, I want to stop at my number 3, which is the extended cut, which we also did get early. We got it early ahead of Fast and Furious or something like that, right? Um,
yeah, and even then it was like slightly different too, because like
there there was like a
it had
little
all the like
change at the
the
end or something.
yeah, the ending was like a bunch of different
Mm,
scenes, sort
that's
of like
right.
like yeah, but yeah.
It was like the now this stuff, I think, kind of slammed in there in a way, some of it
Yeah,
probably.
there was like you saw Battle at Big Rock for a second and a bunch of other
Yeah.
stuff. So,
Yeah. So, yeah, so mine is if I didn't I forget if I said it, but the extended cut of Jurassic World Dominion, it's this was interesting because I like I said, I really didn't want to put much ahead of The Lost World, but I'm thinking about like everything that we got in the extended cut, and there's that entire prologue, and
mhm,
it's, while I consider it the prologue, and in my head, it's kind of hard to separate, but I will say when I was writing this list today and kind of rewatching it, I was like, oh, it's kind of separating those two things because we're distancing ourselves, I think, from the prologue as it is. And it's now just kind of becoming the intro to the extended cut for me. But
mhm,
I had a hard time and a little bit still do, but like separating those two things. But it's got so much. You've got all that stuff 65 million years ago. I do really, really love seeing the trajectory and how it changes the extended cut towards the end.
mhm,
While it doesn't like it's expected, like I never expected the T-Rex to lose in the end of the movie based off of this, prologue where we see the T-Rex losing there. I'm like, there's no way it's going to lose at the end. But I love seeing that flash of like the past when the T-Rex is down for
mhm,
the count and at the end of the movie. That's one of the best moments in the extended cut. And I just love seeing that, and it adds value when you see this extended cut intro. And getting that mosquito biting down on it, that's really cool. Knowing that this is the blood transporting, that we get our Rex for the original movie. And that's so cool to me. And seeing that drive-in sequence is just incredible. Like
mhm,
watching that Rex run through the forest in the beginning of that sequence and seeing the light shine on this thing as it's going all over the place, and the roaring in front of the screen. Like there's so much like iconic stuff from this moment alone. Um, I just love it, and it
yeah,
does. This is at this point what happens. So this is where it goes right into the yeah. So the drive-in sequence, and then it rolls into um, the foggy intro logo, and then the now this stuff after that. But for me, I feel like there was so much there that it kind of had to be like in the top 3 for me.
Okay. No, I think that's 100% valid. The prologue is phenomenal. They released it like separately by itself, like last November, I think.
Yeah,
And
it's
the
something like
music,
that.
the music at the end from the drive-in and into that foggy logo thing is completely different in the
Mhm.
like individually released one.
Yeah.
And I think that's my favorite like score under that stuff is in that individually released one. But that's another discussion. But no, the most valuable thing, the most valuable thing about having the prologue on the beginning is that it makes bookends for the movie because like you have revenge basically for the past. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's awesome.
It is awesome. It's pretty cool. So we're at our top two now. What's your number
Yeah.
two?
Number two is The Lost World, Jurassic Park. And so part of my thought process when I was ranking these is there are only two Isla Sorna intros in the entire franchise: The
Okay,
Lost
yeah.
World and Jurassic Park 3. And so Jurassic Park 3 was a little further back in the ranking, but I think The Lost has the best Isla Sorna intro.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
No question.
and that's a cool thing. We need to go back to Isla Sorna. Universal, listen to me. Um,
Please.
no, the Bowman family on the beach, unsuspecting children get attacked by chirping tiny carnivorous compies, like, and the practical effects are really fun. And the match cut of Malcolm is just
Yeah.
incredible. So,
I love that it's like that parallel to the book too, it's got that
mhm.
intro to the first book, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's the intro
It's
to the
just
Jurassic Park novel.
yeah, it's so cool to finally get that in that scene. And oh man, it hurts me. It pains me. Having it at number 4. It really does. Like I feel like a bad Lost World fan because I'm not ranking this based off of like which is my favorite movie because like there's, that could be at the top of the list, you know? You never know.
Mhm,
Any day. I could
mhm.
I could take the first movie or the second movie. So I don't know. I don't know, but it is probably the right choice having it where you got it. So I can't disagree there.
Yeah, I'd I'd say, like, the intros do affect, like, how you feel about the movie as a fan, but, like, my favorite intro ranking and my film ranking are similar, but they're not exactly the same. So,
Huh, yeah.
yeah.
And speaking of like how you feel about the film, I feel like this one, maybe more than any of the others, really sets the tone like so well for what you're about to experience.
Mhm.
So this one really knocks it out of the park. So that's good. I can't get over like just watching that on VHS tape, just the dark screen on there for like 5 to 10 seconds. It just feels like
The
forever.
the location stamp that doesn't stay still on the
Yeah.
VHS.
It's so good. All right, so my number 2 is Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. So
Yeah.
this was hard because like I went back and watched it. I'm like also thinking there's no reason why this shouldn't be at number 1. Like it's so good. It's so
That's
incredibly
valid.
good.
That's valid,
You
yeah.
know, it like I love the sonar sounds when you're in that submarine and just the way that like J.A. Bayona like captured the Mosasaurus in the very beginning because I feel like we always skip over the Mosasaur stuff. We talk about the wreck so much, but that I think it's the moment where they like release the bone and it goes up, and then you just see the silhouette of the Mosasaur up above in the lightning strike.
Yes.
Like that is like a mind blowingly awesome, cool scene.
And the
And
music, oh my gosh, the music
oh
is great.
yeah, it's so great. And then again, you get the silhouette of the Mosasaur behind you, and then it like opens up its mouth, like, and then cut to like out above the water, just the lights shut off, and it's just like
Yeah.
the thing's gone, and just the entire tone of this sequence is so Jurassic, right? Like for
Mhm.
coming out with what they came out with in Jurassic World, which was like nothing. It was just 2 eggs, and then just showing up with this. It's like, whoa, like you got it. You
Yeah.
know what you're doing. Like this is incredible. and then like you hear the Dilophosaurus randomly, and you're getting super excited while nothing ever happens there, but you hear it, and then you see the flashing of the Rex behind that guy. He's like, I can't hear you, whatever he said, and it's just it's so amazing. It is such an amazing sequence, and I just can't get over that.
Absolutely.
Like hanging, like you said, hanging onto that ladder, shaking it around. We gotta cut him loose, and they're like screaming at each other. And then, yeah, the absurdity of the mosasaur just like launching, which is like super unrealistic, but it's just like launching out of the water and grabbing onto that guy. It's just like, it's so funny, but like
It's
awesome.
fantastic. It's
And
fantastic.
then just like the like shocked nature of like everybody at the end of that sequence, like, what just happened? Like, we got the asset, it's safe or whatever, but like, oh my God, what just happened? And then I'll include that intro because or the logo title too, because like
Yeah.
that music, the score, a Fallen Kingdom score under that lava flowing through the logo, it's just probably the coolest, one of the coolest. It's definitely the coolest logo reveal, I think, of them all. You know?
Yeah. I mean, the titles are in all the other intros, so the title should be included with the Fallen Kingdom. But Fallen Kingdom's the only, like, I guess Jurassic Park 3 doesn't have like the actual logo. Fallen Kingdom's the only one where it's like the full Jurassic logo. So
Yeah, yeah, I guess it is really, yeah, because Jurassic Park 3 is just it shows the words and then it slashes at the very beginning. Jurassic World, I
yeah.
forget what happens there, but yeah, this one actually, I just love the way that it kind of just rolls and flows. It's just super cool. But yeah, that's my
Yeah.
number 2.
And now that I'm thinking about that, like the Jurassic World Dominion, both intros don't say the title.
No,
It's
that's
it's
why I had to
just
think for a
the
second. I was like, wait,
yeah.
oh no, it doesn't. It's just a which I think is always a smart. I think it's a smart move because like I've always assumed based off the marketing materials and stuff for Jurassic World Dominion that they were attempting to separate themselves from the brand in a way so that they could go on and make future movies with
Do more, yeah.
just the idea of a T-Rex head in a circle. You get it. You know what it is.
Jurassic
So
Universe.
speaking of that, we've got a number 1 pick. And I think I know.
Yes.
I think I know what yours is, and I guess you probably know what mine is.
Yeah.
But let's say it at the same time. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Jurassic
Park.
Park. Go ahead. Why'd you put it at? Why'd you put it at number 1? What was going through your head?
It's iconic. There is no other movie intro that is like that. The musical storytelling in the score, because like in the score you have these sounds of like chains, and then you also have sounds of a slapstick, and the chains represent
Oh,
like humans and enclosing the dinosaurs, and the slapstick represents like the wild animal, which is the raptor, and they're like battling in the music the whole time, and then in the scene it's like a battle. The velociraptor doesn't want to be contained, like it's a battle there too, and like everyone who likes movies, if you say
yeah.
shoot her, shoot her, like they're gonna know what you're talking about. They're gonna
Yeah.
know what it is. So, and it like the cinematography is just unreal, like the lights through the trees and the lights through the raptor cage. And I think maybe my favorite shots of that intro are like we go back and forth between the raptor's eye and Muldoon's
Yep.
eye, back and forth.
Yes.
It's just like it's incredible storytelling. Spielberg is the master, obviously. So
Yeah. It. That's all those reasons are why I had it at number 1 as well, and it started everything, right? Like it started
yeah,
all of this absurdity that we're sitting here talking 30 years later about. It is incredible. It's the tone, everything about the tone of this intro, and I think you got to bring it back even farther to just the thumping boom, and the choir just like expanding boom, and
yeah,
seeing those different like things pop up, and then you get the Jurassic Park word right there. It's just and hearing that whatever that instrument is, that like at the
It's
end
a
of
Zerna.
yeah, whatever that is,
It's
at the end of the
a
phrase.
woodwind instrument.
Hey, this isn't Dino Score, man. I don't know anything about music and outside of that. But that moment is just so iconic and awesome. And then you get like more score after that, which is just incredible, and like a little bit of electronic sounding stuff, and then stuff that sounds almost like as epic as something like Indiana Jones, where like you can hear them opening a tomb almost like when they're opening up the raptor cage. It's just like, it's amazing, like the way that this all sounds from a music standpoint to a sound design standpoint, with the jungle noises, the trees, the everything. It's just all so incredible. And
There's a reason that Jurassic Park won the Academy Award for best sound.
yeah,
So,
seriously. And it just starts right here, and you're like, wow, that they win. Give it to them right there.
yeah,
I didn't even get into the
absolutely.
movie yet.
No, but in a way, it is like opening a tomb, because like dinosaurs have been dead
Yeah.
forever. Now they're alive again. So
Yeah, seriously.
yeah,
You get Muldoon, dude, like just standing there, like with his shotgun, and he's just like
his
looking
thigh-high
like the cool.
socks.
Yeah, at this moment in time, you're not like, this guy doesn't know what he's doing with his job, but like at that moment, you're like, wow, this is the coolest looking guy ever, and he's commanding these workers to do stuff, and just the I don't know, the pattern of his speech and how he commands everybody to do these things. It's like I don't know, just the way he prompts it all to happen is so interesting to me. I just love how it's all laid out,
Loading team, step away.
Yeah.
It's just it's very good.
It's so commanding, and so just like, he knows at this point in time, he knows what he's doing. He knows how to like really command people and do his job. And I'm like, wow, this guy is awesome to watch. And then just like the absurdity of how like you don't know what's in there, but you know, like a raptor's in there, like pulling this guy up and down this thing, and like,
Yeah.
and they can barely hold on to this human. It's awesome. It's so cool. And
It's like, and then you get the fade transition into the dorkiest guy you've ever seen, floating on a little raft.
Yep. But it is a great and iconic transition, because like you literally had this most intense scene to something like, I don't know what's happened. Why is this guy in a suit on a raft getting pulled in? And it's like so out of left field. You have no idea what's happening. So it does really throw you off. And I love that. It's such an awesome transition there. But it has to be number one. And look, this is the year of the 30th anniversary. So if we had put anything else here, you should have stopped listening, right? Like, that's the way it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the best. Whether it has all the greatest stuff in it or not, it's definitely the best intro. Like, that's why this was so hard, because so many of these other intros had such great stuff in there, but nothing really beats the original,
Yep. I agree completely.
Yeah. So I do want to bring up some people from Twitter, because I did reach out to everybody on Twitter, and I said, hey, let me know, what is your top pick for number one? So let me bring it up here. I'm trying to find my profile. Here it is. All right. So
did anybody say Jurassic Park 3?
I don't think so. We have Free Han Solo says Lost World, when the woman screams and it cuts to Ian stepping on the subway. That's got to be a good one. Jurassic Unicast says got to be Fallen Kingdom. Ronnie here says Fallen Kingdom as well. And Dave, I gotta give a shout out to Cretaceous Dave here, because Cretaceous Dave mentioned the Dominion flashback to 1993, recovering the Barbasol. Wait, and he just ended it there, because like I had talked about this with Aaron and other people so much about how I wanted that to be the intro, and it felt like the most perfect intro to Dominion, and it never happened. and I'm still like stewing about it because like it would have been so good. It would have been better than whatever we got between Camp Cretaceous and, well, we didn't really get any backstory in Dominion about the Barbasol can. So what are you gonna do? What are you gonna
Well,
do?
I mean, I'm someone who, the future of the Jurassic franchise, I'm someone who wants them to make a lot of prequels. And so maybe
Yeah.
we'll get the reconnaissance team going in and grabbing the
hope so.
DNA. So
I hope so. I mean, maybe it's okay if you want to rewrite over Camp Cretaceous. Please, you can do it. You can do that. I think for the Barbasol can, we'll leave it. If it's about the Barbasol can, let's rewrite it. Roberto here says JP. Dino Crispo says images you can hear, and then has the shooter just gif of that, and it's just like you can. And then the hand like just falling through, like you can hear the music fading away, and then that transition. Oh, it's so good. Dinosaur Man says Jurassic World Dominion Extended Edition. So we got a nice extended cut there. I'm not going to be able to read all of them. There's so many here, but we got another one for Dominion from Scott C. He also mentioned Fallen Kingdom as well. And Mesozoic Mind says The Lost World. Let's skip ahead here. Let's see. Oh, Muzzamill. Got a shout out to Muzzamill. The one opening to start it all. Jurassic Park takes the cake. I will say as a second/third option, the Jurassic logos enveloping the screen over the summer got me in the feels when seeing that opening night. Sure.
Yeah.
Let's see. Clarky says, JP, it's so good at establishing the dangers of what InGen has done and nailed how to introduce the raptors. Visually, Fallen Kingdom is excellent. The dark, rainy shots of Rexy chasing the mercenary and the Dilo hooting was the closest to the world film's atmosphere ever came to Jurassic Park and The Lost World. My buddy Phil here says Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is number 1 with Jurassic Park at a close second. Can't fault that. I can't fault that.
I can understand that, yeah.
It is a good pick, and like I said, I could very well have seen that at number 1 if Jurassic Park wasn't there. Oh man, there's so many. Let's see. Let's skip a few of these here. Another one saying Fallen Kingdom was incredible. Here from Jeff. Let's see. Another one for Fallen Kingdom. Wow, from SEQ, and Dominion Extended Cut from Nate. Fallen Kingdom from Primeval here. Wow, there's a lot of Fallen Kingdom love. You can't deny that. Like a lot of Fallen Kingdom. I got like 3 or 4 in a row. No, here's more actually. Yeah, no, 4 or 5 in a row there about Fallen Kingdom. That's wild. I mean, I get it. It makes a lot of sense. But yeah, let's end it there.
I'm looking through them too.
Yeah, I didn't count them all up or anything like that, but I'd be interested. It looks like maybe Fallen Kingdom or Jurassic Park could take the top spot there. So can't fault those
there's
picks.
there's also people saying like Fallen Kingdom's not their favorite movie, but like the opening is their favorite opening. So
yeah, and I think that's very clear. I mean, I can understand if you didn't like the rest of the movie, but that opening sequence is undeniable. Like it is. Oh, it's awesome. But I have heard a lot of people say that they like really dislike the now this stuff, from Dominion.
Yeah,
so
I've heard that too.
That's why I guess I see a lot of, extended editions being picked here. So makes sense. But we'll wrap it up there. I don't want to keep everybody too long, but thank you for everybody writing into our Twitter. Give us a follow at Jurassic Park Pod if you want to interact with us every now and then. But Caleb, thank you so much for conjuring up a quick list, talking about it with me real quick here on a Monday night. And I love it. I don't have any way to end this, but I think we made good choices here. I think we made good choices.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. I love Jurassic ranking, like ranking anything. It's fun. So
yeah. Look, I think we could rank some other stuff in the future. But where can everybody find you if they want to interact with you online?
You can follow me on social media at Caleb Composed and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Jurassic Caleb.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining me, and we'll see you next time. Maybe on a dino score or a list or something like that. Take it easy.
Yeah.